You are free to think. You are free to speak. You are free to act. You are truly free, and this is by nature. Freedom is one of the characteristics of our existence, as long as we don't limit it with fear, lose sight of it due to distraction, or contaminate it with ignorance. We are free to take and free to act. It is also true that we will experience in our bodies and in our life situation the results of what we have taken from the world for ourselves. And the fruits of those actions we decide to sow in the world will flourish in our lives. In other words, we choose two things or two directions: what is already in the world that we take for ourselves, or what comes from outside to inside, and what we put into the world, or what goes from inside to outside. In both directions, we exercise our ability to choose, and both exercises produce results in our internal and external worlds that we will experience. We are free, but we will also be the ones who experience the results of the choices we make in the exercise of our freedom. It is in our best interest, therefore, to be brave in keeping our freedom sharp and shiny. It is in our best interest to be wise so as not to harm ourselves with it. Freedom and responsibility are the two sides of the same thing, like the two sides of a sword or a coin. Freedom is a sacred gift, which should be held in the highest esteem. But this wonderful gift would be of little value if we do not know how to appreciate it, and we lose or disdain it, or if we use it to make our lives miserable. We are all similar to divinity in terms of the freedom to choose our actions, but we are subject to the consequences of those voluntary chosen acts. This is why free will is the greatest topic of study in philosophy. It recognizes a divine characteristic in human beings and deals with how it can be exercised in the best way. We are only free to the extent that we are responsible. Freedom and responsibility are inseparable. And since freedom is given, it is on responsibility that we must focus our attention. Responsibility does two important things in relation to our freedom. The first is that it will make us aware of its existence and its use. And the second is that it teaches us that this freedom is exercised through certain means: mind, body, resources, that we are expressed in a world with certain laws and produce certain results. It makes us aware that we can create and helps us realize what we are creating. Responsibility gives us power. We can only change a story to the extent that we realize that we are the ones writing it. Sometimes the main character of a story chooses the action he will take to produce a result, and sometimes he chooses the response he has to a particular situation. Sometimes he creates the situation. Sometimes he redirects it. Sometimes he simply mitigates or transforms the effect it has on him. We have the power to transform the story on some occasions, and on others, only to transform the character. But we have a power that can be used, and we can only access that power to change something when we choose to be responsible for changing it. Victims are not responsible for things, but they also do not have the power to change them. Heroes are responsible for what they did, or become responsible for changing what they did not do but want to transform. And this is what allows them to access their power to transform it. Now, there are teachings that protect your freedom and power, and teachings that destroy them. All teachings that describe you as a result of what others do or what happens steal your freedom. All teachings that deny your responsibility to use your freedom and your resources to transform yourself and the events of the world in which you live also rob you of your power as a human being. Bad teaching is like a delicious dessert that steals your health. Good teaching, like good medicine. It's sometimes bitter, but it helps us regain our health and strength. To choose wisely, it is worthwhile to realize certain characteristics of our nature and the world in which we live. There will be teachings that flatter our vanity or seduce our appetite, eager for pleasure and fearful of pain, but that will bring us negative results. And there will be other teachings that are more painful to hear and more difficult to cultivate, but that will bring us the results we desire in our lives. What we choose to think is important because what we think directs all of our resources. Like the helm of a ship, it is only a part of the ship, but it directs the entire movement of the ship. We can choose the thought that directs our minds at a given moment, just as we can choose the direction the ship takes by steering the helm. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that there are pure actions, passionate actions, and impure actions. Impure actions cause restlessness before, during, and after executing them. Passionate actions are pleasant at the beginning but produce unpleasant results. Pure actions are often bitter at the beginning but sweet in the end. They can be unpleasant or difficult to execute at first, but the results end up enchanting us. You are free and you will receive the fruits of your actions. You have some resources: your time, your energy, your attention, your body, your mind, and your heart. You live in a world governed by certain laws that will produce certain results when you sow your actions in it. Your thinking is like the helm of a ship. It sets the direction in which the entire ship moves. When it comes to evaluating a teaching that may influence your thinking, choose those that respect your freedom as a human being and contribute to using it in a way that brings you joy, not tears.